Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, entitled Dhyana Yoga. Text number what?
32.
Sure?
Last time we discussed Acharya's commentary.
Yeah. So which one we discussed?
32.
So that's right. Today it's 33. Okay. What do we remember from the last discussion? Any points? Yeah.
To be a perfect yogi, like he sees equality, happiness, and in distress. It is being talked about Uttam Adhikari. And in the purport, Prabhupada mentioned about Madhyam Adhikari. He is a perfect yogi who preaches about.
Okay, we talked about those who preach and those who don't preach. So we talked about someone who is interested in their own liberation, and we talked about those who are interested in liberating others as well. Actually, it's very interesting. What do we understand through our practice? It's interesting that even if we wish our own liberation, this is extremely important to understand. Even if we wish our own liberation, you may say, oh, I'm not interested in liberating others. So even if that is the mindset, that is it's conditioning, still you have to preach. Still you better preach. Still you better give this knowledge to others. Still you be concerned with others. Because if that is the case, then that's how you're going to become liberated. It's not just focusing on yourself with your own strength and your ability and your efforts. It's not going to be sufficient. It's not going to be enough. So we have to grab the mercy, and mercy is flowing. And what is the mercy? The mercy of the Sankirtan movement. So the Sankirtan means giving, 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 giving. So you want to receive, then you don't ever stop giving. Just keep on giving, 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 giving. And then even if you're not qualified, you will become qualified. That is the promise. So even if something is lacking, ananyas chintantamam yejana paripasate. Krishna is saying that even something, if it's lacking, he will add to it. We don't have to worry. But if we give our 100% of our conditioning, and Krishna will add what we like, and he'll preserve what good we have. But we have to give 100% of whatever we can give. That should be without reservation. There might not be 100% of what is expected for perfection, but it has to be given from our side, unreserved, and without any reservation. Unreserved, absolutely unreserved. So that kind of 100%, that will qualify us. So what again that means? It means giving this knowledge, giving this holy name, trying to give it to others. So again, even if you're selfish, that's the best type of swart, best type of selfishness. You're concerned only about yourself, fine. But you want to achieve that benefit, still you have to keep on giving. Still you have to become Goshtya Nanandi, not Bhajananandi, just doing bhajan on your own, in secluded place or whatever. You won't find any secluded place, that's another thing. There's always so much disturbance everywhere. So better to keep on giving. So this was some discussion last time. Okay, any other points that are important points? Anything else? Anybody wants to? What? You didn't know anything. We discussed about peace formula. Which peace formula? Yeah, so but what does this have to do with the verse? So when are we gonna get the clock back? Did anyone ever inquire? Where did the clock disappear? Anyway, it would be nice to have a clock back. Confirmed. Any other points? Yes. Something. Where's your notebook, pen? Yes.
In the verse, it's explaining the yogi, he sees equals. Like
yogi sees equally what?
He don't discriminate. He sees soul or he sees soul. Then you also quote the verse with the saintly person sees soul.
Okay, soul. The yogi sees the soul, so that's the highest level of a yogi, no?
You also described the
okay, we discussed about different levels of realization or spiritual practice, Uttam, Madhyam, Kanishta.
And you also described that how Prabhupada, on what level, how Prabhupada is pure devotee.
Okay.
How we see.
Okay, so we pointed out to Prabhupada's level. Okay. And him mercifully descending to the platform of preaching for sake of our spiritual progress. No? So if Prabhupada wouldn't have gone to the West, none of you would be here. None of you would be here. Of course, neither I. Nobody would be here. Nobody would be practicing spiritual life. Most unlikely. Most unlikely. Most unlikely. So how much trouble Srila Prabhupada took, to present his Krishna consciousness. And then going there, and from there bringing someone to establish something here. Because here already things were going so bad. Things were becoming so materialistic. People are so disinterested in any spiritual practice. They can't even focus on any, and a few minutes on any particular practically discussion about spiritual life or philosophy. So weak-minded, so feeble, intelligent. Okay, so anyway, so let's see today. Okay, Raj, you want to say something?
We discussed about what is the meaning of yogi or yoga.
Okay, we discussed what is the meaning of yogi and yoga. Like what? What was that?
It's a connection.
Okay. And yogi? Okay. So connecting. Oh yes.
In CC it mentions that yoga is like a black snake.
Okay. Yeah, but that was last time or before?
Last time.
But we mentioned what we discussed earlier. Okay, anyway, let's read today. Arjuna Uvacha Yoyam Yogastvaya Prokta Samyena Madhusudanam Etasyaham Napashyami Chanchalavat Stithim Sthiram. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Wow, it's a long purport. Arjuna said, "O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and undurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady." Haribo. Here it is. Purport: the system of mysticism described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, beginning with the words Shaucha Desha and ending with Yogi Paramam, is here being rejected by Arjuna out of feeling of inability. It is not possible for an ordinary man to leave home and go to a secluded place in the mountains or jungles to practice yoga in this age of Kali. The present age is characterized by a bitter struggle for life of short duration. People are not serious about self-realization, even by simple practical means, and what to speak of this difficult yoga system, which regulates the mode of living, the manner of sitting, selection of place, and detachment of the mind from material engagements. Wow. As a practical man, Arjuna thought it was impossible to follow this system of yoga, even though he was favorably endowed in many ways. He belonged to the royal family and was highly elevated in terms of numerous qualities. He was a great warrior, he had great longevity, and above all, he was the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had much better facilities than we do now. Yet, he refused to accept this system of yoga. In fact, we do not find any record in history of his practicing it at any time. Therefore, this system must be considered generally impossible in this age of Kali. Of course, it may be possible for some very few rare men, but for the people in general, it is an impossible proposal. If this were so 5,000 years ago, then what of the present day? Those who are imitating this yoga system in different so-called schools and societies, although complacent, are certainly wasting their time. They're completely in ignorance of the desired goal. So, Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnanjana Shalaka Chakshuramitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Rai Krishna Shri Vishnu Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanam Namaste Saraswati Deva Bharana Prachana Vishishna Krishna Jai Shri Krishna Bhaktivedanta Shri Vishnu Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So again, we're going to start from the end. Prabhupada points out how people have no idea what the yoga is meant for. They have so many misconceptions about health and prolonged ability of the body to perform sense gratificatory activities. That's all that people think that yoga is meant for. Of course, they get result. They definitely get some result. It's not that practice of yoga, it's completely irrelevant. Just because it was practiced in Satya Yuga. But still, in Kali Yuga, one can get some benefit out of it. One can derive some abilities. There's no restriction on that. But to which extent? That is what is the point. To which extent? Is it to the extent that one can reach the ultimate goal of yoga? No, that it's excluded. It's pretty much excluded. This is something that nobody's, or hardly, like Prabhupada said, maybe very few men, maybe. That's also very doubtful, extremely doubtful. So yoga is not a process for this age. Usually when we would present this to anyone talking about yoga and achieving the goal of yoga, real goal, ultimate goal, samadhi, meditating on Paramatma. Then what could we say? We could just say, give example of Vishwamitra meditating for 60,000 years. Do we live 60,000 years? It's obvious. It's obvious. So where is the question of us practicing yoga that long? You may say, okay, I will start now, and after 60,000 lifetimes, then I'll achieve perfection. Is that making any sense? Yeah. Or depending what the duration of life. Every time it's just inconceivable. It just makes no sense. Even if you would have hoped for such an arrangement that every life you could, continue with such kind of practice, it would be just out of question. It's too much. It's incomprehensible. So any kind of yoga practice, it's way difficult. It's very difficult. Of course, now you may say this is proposed in previous age, in previous yuga, which was not that far from our yuga. So it's not that far. Okay, now in Dvapara Yuga, Arjuna also didn't live 60,000 years. He lived less, and still Krishna proposed this process. But then Arjuna rejected it. He said, I can't do it. So even then Arjuna said, I can't do this process. And he was, as Srila Prabhupada is stating, way more qualified than any of us could even imagine. Way more qualified. Prabhupada mentions anomalies of the modern day's mind. What is going on with our mind? So how can we even just think about it? So then any kind of yoga is absolutely excluded. Any conception of yoga, except maybe you get benefit of pranayama, for which you also have to practice some asana before that, and know some rules and regulation, follow some strict yam and niyam. Then you get some healthy benefits, some rejuvenation of the body, and pretty much that's it. Pretty much that's it. Everything else that follows is almost unattainable. Very difficult. So then what to do? What can be done? Arjuna, this is the point now. Arjuna is rejecting this system. Says there's nothing wrong with the system. This is something we should not misunderstand. System works, but we are not qualified for it. Just like Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a perfect system, but you have to adjust your body to it. What does it mean, adjusting the body? Adjusting the body means body has to be, regulated in certain ways. Otherwise, if that is not the case, the medicine will not work. No? So nowadays we said, Ayurveda, it's not so. Yeah, but you have to adjust your body. You can't perform sinful activities and expect benefits from taking Ayurvedic medicine. It's not going to work. You can't just do any kind of nonsense and expect the benefits. It doesn't work. So system is a perfect system, like any system. Nowadays, we can talk about Varnashram system. And then people say, that's a caste system, it doesn't work. No, the system, it's a perfect system. But are you properly applying it? Are the conditions met to be applied? Are we ready to accept those conditions? Same thing with yoga. Every system has its rules and regulations, yam and niyam. Everything is there. Social system, this system, that system, whatever system you want to talk about that's presented in the Vedas. Every system has its conditionings. Because you can't just expect a condition. Let's say I put a seed in certain soil. If that soil is not certain, will the seed sprout? It's not going to sprout. It makes no sense. How it will sprout? If the soil is not fertile, there is no enough light, there is no enough moisture, there's not enough rain. But how will seeds fructify? How will seeds sprout? It's not going to happen. So it's so ridiculous. People say, yes, they have that conception. I just take some pill and then everything should be resolved and cured and wonderful. No, you have to put yourself in a certain condition. Because even that pill, then you're cheating yourself. You're not resolving the real cause of the sickness. You're just getting relief from certain symptoms temporarily. Yeah. So that's what people don't understand. They want everything instant and they think that's ultimate solution. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. Things don't work. The laws of material nature are not set in such a way. It might be set in your mind, but not in the world. And you have to follow the world because those are the laws governing everybody else. So we should learn how to align with those laws. then we'll benefit. So when we align, then the certain system have the efficiency. Then the certain system, one can benefit from the certain system. So that's why this yoga, it's not going to work so well because we're not qualified. We just kind of align to that extent. To some extent, yes, but not to the extent to achieve ultimate goal. So that's why Arjuna could not follow, and he struggled. He said, the life is so short, it's so difficult, the manner of sitting. How many of you can sit, like for 2 hours? At least for 2 hours, peacefully without any changing of the posture or something. Even that becomes difficult. What to speak of anything else? I see these yogis, they're sitting so long that their hair grows, the nails grow, so many, they don't move for years practically. I'm talking about some hours. You can't do even that much. So sitting, selection of place, which place, where are you going to find a suitable place? And then detachment of the mind from material engagement. I say, yeah, that's the best. Detachment of the mind from material engagements. How often we just think, what about this, what about that? So how can the mind become pacified? And then focused on what we are supposed to do. And then absorbed in what we are supposed to do. And then just fully becoming oblivious of anything else. We can't just, it's almost inconceivable when we talk about this. So that's why Arjuna is asking Krishna, the system of yoga which you've summarized, he's making a statement. He said it seems impractical, unendurable, chanchalavat, stitim sthiram. Mind is restless, unsteady. What would he say today? What would he say to everybody? Almost everyone has some psychological issue now. Crazy mind, so much disturbance, so many things going on. Then why are we wasting time even talking about yoga? What is our condition? So pitiable. Mind is so unsteady, and on top of everything, we have these mobiles and internet and so many things. Every few seconds, you have to look at it, and check some things. But then, how can we focus, concentrate on anything? That's why it's so difficult to give any general class like this, any general presentation. You have to make it very attractive, visual, entertaining. Bring in so many things. Animate the whole presentation, or bring in the drama or something, bring so many things, PowerPoint, video. Only then, okay, but even then, did you notice how long you can remain focused? 15, 20 minutes? That's it. Even then, okay, what else? What else is there? Immediately mind starts shifting. So difficult. Then what are we going to talk about any yoga? It's just absolutely out of question. So that's why the system is perfect, but we are imperfect. We are so incapable. We are so disqualified. We think ourselves, we are so great and wonderful. We are the pinnacle of civilization. We are so advanced. We have so many different types of technologies. But we can't sit peacefully for, 15 minutes. What kind of advancement is that? What did we achieve? Can't peacefully think about anything, contemplate about anything. Because our minds are wild, absolutely restless and crazy. So that's why Prabhupada explained this system of mysticism described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, beginning with the words Shauchau Deshe and ending with Yogi Parama, is here being rejected by Arjuna out of feeling of inability. So that's why, where is that secluded place, and where is that position that one can start practicing this yoga system? So in essence, we should accept the system which is given for this age, which is the most merciful process. That is chanting of the holy names. That's why when something is, it said that this age is so dark, that something that it's of the pure nature, it will shine very brightly in that darkness, no? So the holy name is just like this. Holy name is just like this. Holy name was always there, even in Satya Yoga, but it wasn't so dark. But now it's become so dark, so contaminated, and when that pure and enlightened form of Krishna, it's manifested, and it just this disperses all the darkness, all the contamination. So that's why it's so prominent. And therefore it's the most prominent in this age. And it's the most effective in this age. So that's why we just chant what? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we have to keep on trying. We have to keep on trying. This might not be easy. And it's always some kind of challenge because of our conditioning. But we have to keep on trying. Should never give up. Because if you give up, what is your benefit? What is your benefit? You just keep on sinking lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. That's all that happens. It's not going to happen automatically just by some miracle that you elevate your mind or purify your mind. No, you have to work on it. You have to work on it. Can't expect that I just let go and just, allow myself to be governed by all the urges and material propensities, and then some miracle will, by some magic, I will become Krishna conscious. No, you have to keep on endeavoring. Because every time you don't keep on endeavoring, you can understand that you're placed in a worse condition. Worse and worse and worse and worse. What can be the most worst type of condition? You just lose any ability practically to gain even a human form of existence. So that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So we have to keep on struggling. We have to keep on struggling. And it's not such a difficult struggle. Just have to regulate our day. Morning, especially. So if you utilize morning hours, and we can fix our mind, then everything else, will flow more easily. Mind becoming our friend, cooperating to utilize this process. Otherwise, we can say, this is difficult. Okay, well, I would say it's more difficult to be a slave of lust. I would say that's more difficult. It's more difficult to be slave of your anger and envy and madness and illusion and so many, disturbances and mental, issues and so many other things. I would say that's more difficult. Why would I be exposed to that? I would say that's more difficult than trying to practice this process. So it's what do we want? What difficulty do you want to take? So it's not so difficult. Chanting is not that difficult at all compared to what else, we have to undergo just to maintain, as it said here, material attachments. Material, temporary attachments, ephemeral, useless, bewildering, disappointing and frustrating attachments. What is the use of this? Okay, anyway, we'll stop here and we'll hear some of the commentaries of the Acharyas from the previous verse and this verse, and then conclusion can be made at the end. Okay, Suraj, come here. अपने साइड करो आप लोग तुम इसमें बोलना माइक में बिना माइक के भी बोल सकते हैं इसमें हो जाएगा तो आपको फिर बीच में कर सकते हैं
Commentary on verse number 6, chapter 6, verse number 32 by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. निकाल दे commentary नहीं दिख रहा 6.32. So here it is said, moreover, it has been stated that even the yogi at the stage of sadhana should have equal vision everywhere. This was explains the most important type of equal vision. He sees what is good for himself and what is bad for himself as equally applicable to all others. He desires happiness for all others and does not desire suffering for anyone. That yogi I consider the best. So in this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that at this stage of sadhana, at this stage of yoga practice, the yogi has the equal vision that he sees every living entity as a part and parcel of the Lord, and he sees it does not see the outer covering of the living entity. He sees that the Brahmana, learned Brahmana, a dog, an elephant, all are the same, like in the soul, in the form of a soul. Then in the second line it says this was explained the most important type of equal vision. He says what is good for himself and what is bad for himself as equally applicable to all others. So the best thing for the living entity is to revive their dormant Krishna consciousness. So yogi says that when he is in Krishna consciousness, that is the good position for him, and he act in such a way, and he engage also the other living entities in such a way and preaches to them about God. And he says what is bad for himself and what is bad for others also. So that's why the yogi goes from door. That's like the devotee goes from door to preach the peoples about the holy name of the Lord and the Krishna consciousness. He desires happiness for all others and does not desire suffering for anyone. So the yogi does not desire suffering for anyone, even for an ant. We see in the example of Srila Prabhupada that he once in the morning what he was walking in a way, and the ant was there, and he took the ant from the road and it kept it and other way, so that the ant may not get harmed. In the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we also says that the Lord performing in the pastimes of the devotee, when he goes from Jharkhand forest, so he made the animals also to chant the holy name of the Lord. So that's the position of a devotee, that he does not harm other living entities also. Any questions and comments? Gaurav Bhasar.
Gaurav, please.
So here is the Ramanujacharya's comment. So he who, because of similarity between his own self and other self, as they are all constituted similarly of uncontracted knowledge in their essential beings, views the pleasure in the form of birth of a son and the sorrow in the form of death of a son of his own and of the others as equal on the ground of equal unrelatedness to such pleasures and pains to him. Viewing his own pleasure and pains of the above description is as being non-different from those of others of the same kind, the yogis is deemed to be highest. He is judged as having reached the summit of yoga. The idea is to prevent misconstruing the verse as meaning that one shares the joy and misery of all as his own. It means only that the highest type of yogis understand that the self is unrelated to the pains and pleasures of his own body. It understands that also that the same is the case with other self. So here Ramanujacharya is trying to explain, like, he who, because of similarity between his own self and other self, as they are constituted similarly of uncontracted knowledge in their essential being, views the pleasures. So here he is saying he views the pleasure of taking birth as a son and the sorrow of the death of the son of his own equal with others. So अपने बच्चे, अगर उसका कोई बच्चा पैदा होता है और मरता है, उसको इक्वली देखता है और दूसरे को भी सेम ही देखता है ना? और क्यों ऐसा देखता है वो? because of the similarity between his own self and other self, as they are constituted similarly of uncontracted knowledge in their essential being. Because ये जो birth and death है, that are not related, like as a soul, if we see, they are not related to the bodies. If we see try to perceive Krishna everywhere, so this doesn't relate to the body. But when we identify, then we have a problem. चलेगा. So yogi tries to see this that his own pleasure and pains are non-different from others. And Prabhupada goes even further than this. Why he goes further? Because what four principle we have in our Krishna consciousness? No, not that. Like for this, not regulative principle. So what is that?
The principle. Purity is the force,
Preaching is the essence. So Prabhupada goes beyond this, and he tells that a yogi is that person. Here Ramanujacharya is saying कि अपना बच्चा पैदा होता है और मरता है, और दूसरे का सेम पेन्स एंड प्लेजर सब. और प्रभुपाद जी इसके आगे जा रहे हैं कि हमको प्रीचिंग करना चाहिए करके. A perfect yogi is not only that who is interested in his own benefit sitting in a secluded place in a forest, but perfect yogi is that person who is preaching the message of Krishna consciousness, because forgetfulness of Krishna consciousness is the cause of suffering, है ना. मतलब प्रभुपाद के इसमें ही लिखा हुआ है that and forgetfulness of Krishna consciousness is the cause of distress, and happiness is due to remembrance of Krishna. So Prabhupada goes into detail. That's why we are learning this. Okay. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Ganesh Prabhu. Anyone else who's ready with the commentaries? You can.
Hi Krishna. So, Sri Keshav Kashmiri commentary on this verse. Now Lord Krishna speaks of the most exalted yogi who perceiving the Atma in all created being view them as non-different from himself, just as a person does not like to create difficulty for themselves. At all times wish the best for themselves. In the same way, such yogi does not want difficulties created by any beings, and at all wish the best for all beings. Such a yogi is completely free from passion. Desire is the most exalted of all yogi. All person due to their previous action accord in the current of reaction of merit and demerits that create obstacles in the achieving union with the Supreme Lord. Those whose knowledge is valid by any science, birth after birth, since time immemorial, have no idea that the highest goal of human existence is first Atma, Tattva, or realization of the soul within the earth, your heart. And the second perception of the Atma or the soul is created all beings and ultimate unity of all created beings. This unity is absolute, inseparable unit with the Supreme Lord. So here Keshav Kashmiri was explaining about, like, in the first he explained about, like, Krishna was speaking about the yogi who see in everyone Atma. He don't see the outer layer of the body. And Vidyami Panna Sampanna Brahmi Hastini, the saintly person see Atma in every, even cow, elephant, dog eater, chandal, everyone, everywhere, in every beings he see Atma. He don't see outer body. And that's non different from Krishna, because Krishna is a supreme whole. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. And after that, Keshav Kashmiri was speaking that the yogi, he don't create difficulty for others also. He don't create difficulty for others. The same thing in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, Krishna was saying that my devotee don't create difficulty for other being. And all after that, he was explaining that because of this passion and desire The yogi is free from passion and desire. I mean, not he don't have material desire. He have only spiritual desire to please Krishna and please his devotee. And after Keshava was explaining that because of our previous actions like merits and demerits, like gun and dosh, merits and demerits, we create so many obstacles in our life in a devotion service to get union with the Supreme Lord. Because of we have so many anarthas, we have good qualities. We also have because of Krishna mercy, and we also have bad qualities in us because of our previous impression of our life. So that's why because of these things we like create obstacles in a life. And after that he was explaining that as very big purpose, so I will just give the main essence of gist of this commentary of Keshav Kashmiri. So he also explaining that to know the highest goal of the life is to know, realize Atma, who we are, who am I. Like, but we just start from who we are. So same thing, Srila Sanatan Goswami was explaining to Mahaprabhu, who am I? First, who am I? So this phase point, same thing, main thing is to know who are you, Tatma Tattva. And after that you get to know what is the relation between Atma and Paramatma, Krishna and soul. So this was explained by Sri Keshav Kashmiri. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Question. Okay. Ganesh Pro, first you need to ask like if there are any questions. Like, so we have one question regarding this particular commentary of Keshav Kashmiri. I'll repeat the question.
So we said that there are two things, guna and dosha. What does that mean related to this?
Okay, so the question is that in the commentary, while explaining the commentary, it was said that there are this merits and demerits, which was translated as guna and dosha. So how is that relevant to this particular commentary of Keshav Kashmiri?
Like he was explaining, like first he explained about the soul. Okay, the yogi who see everyone as a soul, he don't discriminate. After that he was explaining about the yogi don't create problem for others. Okay, and after that Keshav Kashmiri was explaining about that yogi who is free from passion desire. And then after that he was explaining that all person due to the previous action in the current of reaction of merits and demerits that create obstacle in the supreme to come to with the communion with the Supreme Lord. Like he was, as I understood, please correct me if I'm wrong. So he was saying because he explained the yogi, he explained standard in first. That's the standard. Okay. Then after that, because all person they have previous anarthas, we can call some bad thing, merits and demerits. So because of this, that person create some obstacle in the devotion service. So he was explaining that. And after that, he was saying that the highest goal of that life existence or his existence is to know Atma realization. After that, he explained Supreme Similarity. So that thing, he merits and demerit, he explained about because we have this one. This is the reality. This is the truth. We have. हम गंदे हैं. He explained, okay, we have this gun, we have this dosh. But what is the goal? That's the goal to achieve, to get to know who are you. So that's why he explained. So that's why it is the main goal. So don't worry, you have dosh, you have gun, don't worry, keep working. As Prabhuji said, never give up. Because if you give up, then you will glide down. So that's why Keshav is explaining, okay, you have dosh, you have gun. This will create obstacle in your life. But the highest goal of what? Atma realization. Then what? To get union with Krishna. So that's why he was explaining. Hare Krishna.
In short, it can be summarized as conditioning. That's it. Like whatever conditioning you have, be it bad or be it good, one can overcome. Be it piety or someone who's impious. So both can be doubted kind of. You don't need to focus on those things. That was being tried to explain, but he used just some novel term to explain it. So it might have not been clear.
Hare Krishna.
Rudresh Bro. Okay, so Rudresh Bro is not ready yet. We'll ask Kaushik Bro.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna. I've got the commentary of Sri Madhvacharya. In this it is written, Lord Krishna here explains equal vision differently than he did in previous verse. Now beginning the submissions. Those who are devotee of the Supreme Lord treats everyone as they would treat themselves. So this example is for my, I think so Krishna gave for myself only, because recently I faced something. So this for treating a person, like we have to treat person in Krishna consciousness like we are treating ourselves only. So if one action is wrong, one word, one saying, one action, and whatever the behavior is wrong, so it affects the devotees. If I am angry to one devotee, if I am rough to any devotee, if I am saying right thing but my toning and my expressions are wrong, then it quickly hits, and that impressions come, and whatever if I tell very nice thing also, then too it is wrong for him. So in that situation, what happens? The person becomes controller, right? Because I am a boss and I am telling in such a way so that he is a servant. So no, in Krishna consciousness, it should be opposite side. Like I am a servant and that person is boss as a Prabhu. So he is a master of us, and I have to be tried. We are initially we have to try, and when the stage comes, then we are automatically conscious that oh, I am his das, and we have to be a servant of his person. Whatever Prabhu is there. So in that situation, if we treat in such way, if we respect every person in such way that I am treating myself before speaking, before treating, before telling anything, if we take a pause for few seconds and just keep ourselves front of that person, just a reflective mirror, and then if we speak, just whatever I'm going to tell, if I repeat that dialogue to myself, then it will click very easily that oh, it should be not saying like this, because I expect soft dealing. So the person who is front of me, he would also explain the soft dealings. So in this way, this is about the devotees dealing. But for living entity, for every living, like I've seen Prabhuji example, he never kills a I've seen mosquito also. He has some dabbas he catch, and he try to make it out of window and then close the window. Ants also, whenever we walk, oh, please see that ants. So automatically when we practice nicely, then automatically compassion rises, and then a devotee is not ready to harm a small ant as well. So in dealings also, if we see any rickshaws, we go, if bus or any person in petrol pump and anything. Recently, I was in South India with Prabhuji. So when I used to not say thank you to petrol pump person, so he used to tell me, why are you not telling thank you? You just tell him thank you, Hare Krishna. Return, he will appreciate that and he'll smile and he'll fold his hand or thank you. So Krishna will see that he had appreciate or thank to other devotees. So his Sukruti will increase. So the person who is in already in Krishna conscious stage, so he thinks how to deliver in many ways to the persons outside who has no idea how to suddenly how they are going to connect, no idea, but just thanking, taking prasadam, suddenly he will get connect to devotees, and then automatically his Krishna consciousness might be, it will start. So we should be very conscious. Thank you so much. Any comments? Yes, Kanishk.
I have question one, because as you put as also you also stated, Chad also stated like we should be we treat everyone very nicely, but because of our previous uh,
condition.
Condition also. Sometimes I get rough with the devotees. So for that, what we should do? I mean,
It's a serious question to myself. It's my reflection only. That I only be rough to devotees. So in that situation, what I have understood, if we nicely chant at least at morning, 16 round before Bhagavatam, or like be conscious, read, hear. We have to first of all train your mind, or else just be out of that box. Make your box, means just try to not to get involved in anything. And in New Bhakta, I had tried this. For 4 months, I didn't blaspheme anyone or anything. I didn't tell negative because I didn't have time only. I used to chant 20 rounds plus in that New Bhakta schedule, and 2.5 hour plus I used to read in that schedule. I didn't have time only. When I was having time, open Bhagavatam, read one sloka. So what happened if devotee is there with me, I'm discussing Bhagavatam only. Automatically Krishna consciousness started. But due to some proudness or something, Krishna took that. So again, it's not that he took, but again we can revive. So it's main thing, Vaisya Prabhu had came and he was giving example. If you want to read, just stick everywhere your I have to read. So in that way we can do. Oh, I have to not criticize. I have to control my mind. I have to be humble. In such way, if we see that reflections, then in whole day one thing you will try. That whatever you are sticking from 4, one thing you will remember, and you will, oh no, I don't have to do one thing. Okay, not to shout, not to be angry, not to be rough, talk properly, or at least behave properly. From that 4, one you can follow. Then doing. Process is there. Process is perfect. Just we have to push ourselves. Hare Krishna.
So we thank the devotees, for sharing the beautiful reflections on this thing. And now we'll begin this summary. It won't be long. As we all can see, in this particular verse, we have discussed only 32nd verse, The commentary is on the 32nd verse, 33rd is pending. So here, what is being talked about is equal vision. Why we are discussing this commentary is to see how Prabhupada, has expertly, given each and every important subject matter discussed in various acharyas' commentaries. So if you look down, we are having so many acharyas, Sridhar Swami, then we have Keshav Kashmiri, we have Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and everyone's each line Prabhupada has given. For example, right from with the very start, seeing the living entity with equal vision, right? And then what we are seeing is that what is that equal vision, and how does that make one a yogi, and how amongst those yogi who's Krishna conscious, he is the supreme, and then what is the action of that Krishna conscious yogi, and what is the perfection of that yogi. So if you read the puppet, you'll come to know. So what is the perfection of that yogi? He doesn't desire perfection for his own self. That's the very important thing, right? He doesn't desire it for his own self. He desires it for others. That's the whole point. So we'll conclude with this, and we would like to thank all the devotees as well as Prabhuji for sharing all the realizations by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.